From the outside, Emily has always been happy and healthy, but for years she hid her darkest secret. She was trapped inside a dangerous cycle, trying to convince health professionals she needed help.
No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't let go of wanting to get that feeling and get that fix.
For years, Emily Samama hid her darkest demons.
I think because I looked normal and healthy, no one suspected anything anyway. I kind of hid in plain sight for the most part.
But for half her life, Emily has suffered an eating disorder. You suffered for 13 years, didn't you?
Yes.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's kind of hard to wrap my head around now.
Emily developed bulimia at the age of 12 as a way to cope with anxiety. She would binge huge amounts of food and then purge.
It's sort of just made the anxiety go away completely.
Emily told herself it was a one-off, but slowly it became an addiction as the pressures of high school mounted.
After a few months, it was almost a daily occurrence for, I'd say 11 or 12 years.
Emily had a textbook eating disorder, but for her, it wasn't about being thin.
When we talk about eating disorders, we still have this sort of stereotypical idea of like this emaciated white teenage girl who's scared of the calories in her cereal, when that's so far from the reality for so many people.
Even doctors Emily would meet struggled to understand her condition, as she says she didn't look like she had an eating disorder.
If her priority is to prevent me from developing anorexia over treating the bulimia I already have, it really must not be that big of a deal.
The most common eating disorder occurs in people who are adequate or indeed high weight.
Professor Philippa Hay is chair of mental health at Western Sydney University. She says more than 1 million Australians currently live with an eating disorder. Only 3% have anorexia. For most, it's a binge eating disorder.
I think we really have to break down that myth that eating disorders are things that only occur in the wealthier strata of society and only occur in young women.
But Philippa says there are signs family and friends can look out for.
If people don't want to eat with their families, if they want to eat in their bedrooms or start turning down invitations to go places where there's food and eating, that's one of the chief signals.
So really, I started off as somebody that wanted to get into fitness, somebody that wanted to experience the gym, and I really got probably a little bit too far into it.
Kelly Griffin also didn't fit the mould. He was in his 40s and a bodybuilder, but that desire for a perfect build led to disaster.
Everything that I did had an exercise component to it, but I had to make sure of what I was eating, and then it was starting to not eat effectively.
Kelly was exercising 6 hours a day. His mind kept telling him it wasn't enough.
And at that point I thought, okay, I can come out of this. I'm sure I can come out of this. This isn't anything serious.
It wasn't until he started to research eating disorders he realised he was deep in one.
Family was starting to click on, and once I actually said to them, I think I have a problem, then they went, again, are you sure?
He eventually got help through the Butterfly Foundation, which supports people with eating disorders. Helpline manager and clinical psychologist Sarah Cox.
Social media has allowed a comparison in a way that we've never had before.
Sarah believes social media is partly to blame as to why there's been a 20% increase in eating disorders in the past decade.
The real figures may even be higher because of the shame and stigma and secrecy.
Fewer than 20% of sufferers seek treatment for eating disorders. It took Emily 12 years before she knew she needed help.
I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I can't keep living like this.
She checked herself into a facility for 3 months to finally stop. Do you consider yourself lucky that you've come out the other side of it now?
I do, especially considering that in adults with anorexia and bulimia, only about 50 to 60% fully recover.
Emily and Kelly know how lucky they are, and they want others to know there's help out there.
I'm grateful for my recovery every day. It is the absolute greatest blessing in my life.
The rewards of feeling good, being good, and having that mental, free space now is great.
And if you need help or support for an eating disorder or body image issue, please call the Butterfly Foundation National Helpline, the number 1800 334 673, or head to their website. Up next, it's